Hello and welcome to another Checkmate Puzzles video where you can follow along as I solve these puzzles. And remember, studying tactics, problems, and solving checkmate puzzles like this on a regular basis should definitely help improve your game. Alright, what happened here? White just pushed this pawn forward, so trying to move his pawn majority down the board, but we're going for a checkmate here. So we have a bishop and queen nearby. What do you think black should do here? And remember, pause the video at any time if you need to think longer. All right. Well, it looks like we have a good attack here with this bishop and queen. So hopefully you found queen to h3, and then on the next move, you'll put your queen in here to g2 with a mate. And a quick look to see if there's any way to stop that. There is a possibility of a check by this knight. But then it looks like we can just capture. But if we do that, the queen will capture with check and cause problems. So maybe it's better that we do not capture that knight. So a quick thing to look at, you have to remember your own plans when you're trying to you have to take a look at your own plans, of course, when you're trying to attack your opponent, but you also have to take a look at your opponent's plans to see if they have a way to stop you. So this could be a little troublesome move here with this knight landing here. So what could you do next? Well, it looks like then the king could just move, and that knight cannot check you again. The knight could jump up here. Or here to try and go after our queen, but that doesn't matter. But if the knight jumps up to here, we'll probably have to capture first, and then we can go for the mate. All right, let's take a look. So they do go after us, and where should we move our king? Well, probably here. Then the knight may jump up here to stop us, and we can capture. Oh, but then there could be another check by this pawn. So let's see, maybe it's better to go here. All right, and then we capture, and the mate. All right, so that was a little tricky, a 2143 rated puzzle. These puzzles are rated anywhere from 1500 to 2500. So on to the next one here. I'll try and do 10 of these if it doesn't take too long. All right, so rook to e2. Threatening to try and move in here and start attacking our king. But what do we have? How can we deliver a mate? Well, it looks like we have a check here with our rook. The king might have to move. Well, the king would be forced to move. If he blocks, we just take. So the king could run here. We could check again, then deliver. Oh, then we cannot deliver a check there. All right, so a little tricky. Oh, we would have to go here instead. All right. So hopefully you found this. Rook check. King moves here, and our queen just jumps here, capturing the pawn with a mate there. Now, we do have this block first, but we still deliver the mate. All right, hope you found that one. It says that was a 2335 rated puzzle. I don't know if it was that difficult, but I'm not sure how accurate these ratings are when they equate to actual over the board chess. But let's move on to the next one. We just delivered a check. The king moves into the corner. And what do you think white should do here? Take a look at this. Pause if you need more time to think. But it looks like it is a queen sacrifice here. So hopefully you found this move. We sacrifice our queen, forcing the king to capture. Then we check with the rook. The queen or the knight can block, but then we just capture both of those. So here we go. Now if the queen tries to block, we just capture the queen next, delivering the mate. All right, on to the next one. That was a 1622 rated problem. Hopefully you found that. All right, we just had a capture of our bishop there, I believe it was. So what can black do to deliver the mate here? So as always, you want to look for possible checks first before you look at more complicated stuff. So the only way to check here is with our queen. So if our queen moves up here to c1, the rook can capture, and then this rook can capture, and the only way to stop the back rank mate is to block with the queen, but then we can capture the queen. So check, check, and mate. All right, a 1690 rated problem, a back rank checkmate. So always be aware of potential back rank threats to your opponent and to your king as well. All right, the king was in check by our queen and moved forward here. But does this trap the king? Let's take a look here. All right, first we want to look at checks. Well, if our queen tries to check, it can just be captured here, here, any of these squares, here. So we'll look at the pawn checks next. If we deliver a pawn check, that will force the king forward. But then how do we follow up the attack? How do we follow up with the attack here? All right, this one is a little tricky here. So well, I don't know. The obvious move here is to just check with this pawn. But the problem is, once the king moves forward, how do you follow up with the attack? If we go here, the pawn can capture, or the king could even capture. So maybe we go here first with a rook sacrifice. So rook to f6, check. The pawn is forced to capture. Then does that work or not? Okay. Check. Capture. And then if we go here, the king can move forward. But then what do we do next? All right, well, this is turning out to be a little trickier than I thought. So I'm hoping that you're doing better than I am. Rook to f6 here. Sacrifice the rook. Okay, then this pawn would be forced to capture. So the pawn ends up here. If our queen captured then with check, well then we could have a block here. And then what? All right. I don't know. I'm still looking at this rook sacrifice though. So rook sacrifice, pawn captures. Maybe there's a way we can trap the king down here. Rook sacrifice, pawn captures. Then we go here, forcing the king to move forward. Now, is there a way to check? If we check here, the rook can stop us. All right, we're gonna have to dig into this one a little deeper. It's a little tougher. So rook checks, sacrificing the rook. Pawn captures. If the queen comes down, the king can just escape. So we probably have to check with the pawn, forcing the king forward. Then do we check here? If the king moves forward, we can come back up here. Oh, the king can't move back up there because of this pawn. So the king is trapped here on f5. So hopefully you're getting this. So once again, rook captures, or excuse me, rook checks, pawn captures, pawn to g5 check, forcing the king forward. Then we check here. Now the queen could block. If the queen blocks, we can go back up here and deliver a check. But then the king could escape out to here possibly. All right, so what if we do this first? Check with the pawn. The king moves forward. We check with the rook. The queen would have to capture. Then we check with our queen here. Does that work? I have to see if I looked at that correctly. So pawn to g5 check. King moves forward. Then we check with the rook, forcing the queen to capture. Then we check here. And I think that does it. All right. All right. Whew, that was a little tougher. It said that was a 2111 rated problem. So a little trickier. And another reason it's good to try and solve these different types of checkmate problems or any other kind of tactics, you can start to see which ones give you more trouble and maybe go back over those. So, that one was a little tougher for me anyway. I hope you were able to find it. All right, moving on to problem number 6. So we just had an attack on our queen. What can white do here? Oh, okay, this is a famous... I've seen this one before. It's, whether this is the exact game or not, probably not, but this is a famous checkmate here. So hopefully you're able to find this one. Pause the video if you need more time to think. If not, I'm thinking a queen sacrifice here. So instead of capturing the pawn with check, which can be blocked by the bishop and then the king can try and castle, we want to sacrifice the queen, pulling the king over to this d8 square, and then we move this bishop, and we can move here with a double discovered check, forcing the king to move back here, and then we can deliver a mate with the rook. So queen checks, capture, double discovered check here by the bishop and the rook, and then we move up here for the mate. So a 24-20 rated problem here. Now that one I was able to find quicker because it's a pattern that I recognize. So another advantage of doing these problems is to drill these checkmate patterns into your head, and then you'll start to recognize them faster. All right, on to number 7. The king was in check, just retreated. If we try and move our queen here, their queen could stop us from delivering the mate with the queen. Or the rook could just capture here as well, or the bishop could capture. So we have to act quickly here. I'm thinking another queen sacrifice. So, hopefully you found the answer here. If we sacrifice our queen, well, if the king runs, first of all, we just deliver a mate. But if the queen is captured on h2 here, then the rook swoops in, the king will have to move, and then the rook can deliver a mate. So check, capture, check again, and mate. So another little tactical pattern to drill into your memory, and that was a 1932 rated problem. All right, we completed 7, so 3 more to go. All right, the knight has just moved forward here, just developing off the back rank. The opponent's king is in a strange position here, pulled out into the center. So what can we do? Looks like, if we go here, the knight can just capture. All right. Well, maybe we want to move the pawn up here, but then they could capture. Is there another queen sacrifice anywhere? Here's the only check that we can deliver. They can just capture, and then I don't see a follow-up. So, well, let's look at all the checks here. We have a queen sacrifice check, but they can just capture. It doesn't look like that leads anywhere. We have a pawn check here. So if that is played, they can just recapture. And then what? Then I don't see much after that. If they capture our bishop, what can we do? Our rook is under attack. So, okay, if we check with the pawn, they capture, we capture, or excuse me, attack with the bishop, forcing the king to capture. Then all right, maybe this does something. Let's take another look. Pawn to g5, forcing a capture by the pawn. Bishop checks, forcing the king to capture the bishop. Then, what if the rook jumps over here? All right. So this is looking a little more promising. So once again, g5, h takes g5, bishop checks, king captures, rook to g1 check. But then what? If the king moves here, we can move up and deliver a mate. So the king will have to move to the H file. If the king moves to the H file, we can check. And then maybe deliver a mate up here. All right. Oh, that is not the way to go. All right. Well, we got that one wrong. I hope you were able to find a better result than I did, or a better answer. Okay, they don't want this move. Well, now I'm not sure. Maybe we bring the rook up here first. Rook up here to help with the mate. Then, a pawn could maybe move here. No, then we would deliver a mate. So probably this. So that's what they wanted. All right, and then there is an escape route created here. But now we can go here, and if the bishop is captured, we capture. So no. Oh, okay, this one has given me a lot of problems. All right. Okay. The problem is they can move forward here. So that is the issue. Do I push up here? All right, see, this is a really tricky one because I'm not sure how to even go after I have a hint. I hope you're doing better than I am. Okay. We go there. What if the king just runs up here? So if we go with the pawn, nope, they don't want that. They don't want that. All right, yeah, now I'm just not sure what to do. Okay. Oh, that crazy move. Then, okay, man. All right, that was a 2361 rated problem. That one gave me a good bit of trouble there. Okay, I hope you did better than I did. We have two more problems to do. So we just had a check there. The king runs to f1. And now, how do we deliver the mate? Okay. Well, if we move this knight, the king can capture the rook. So do we deliver a check here? Then if they capture, we could go here and then mate with this one. So let's double check that. All right, knight to d2, check. Rook captures. Then our rook delivers a check, pulling the king over. And then we can deliver mate with this. All right, well, a 2480 rated problem. So that one was rated higher than the last one, but I had more trouble with the last one than this one. So it's interesting how some types of problems give you more trouble than others, even when they're supposed to be a little easier. Okay, on to the final problem here. All right, the bishop has just moved back to block this check on the back rank. So also there is a mate being threatened here, mate in 1 by queen to h8 with this rook queen battery. So that means that we must act immediately to deliver some kind of check here and follow up with a mate, hopefully. All right, what are our possible checks? Well, queen sacrifice, does that work? The king can just capture and escape here. So that doesn't look good. The only other check is to sacrifice the rook. So rook sacrifice, forcing the king to capture. Then what? We check here, and the king does not want to run back or we get a back rank mate. So the king would have to go here. And then what? We deliver a check. The king comes forward, and then we deliver a mate here, I believe. Okay, so hopefully you found this. Rook sacrifices, king captures. Now, do we immediately deliver a mate here? Check, forcing the king down to here, and then we deliver a mate here. All right. What? Why do they not like that? If he goes here, we deliver a mate on the next move. Oh, yeah, that's a mate on the next move. Okay. The only option is for them to go here, and then we deliver mate. Is that right? Yes, because the pawn blocks this, and oh no, there's a capture. I overlooked the capture. All right, well, then we have to go back this way. So that's something, no, that doesn't work either. So it must be the bishop. Man. All right, so this is something to watch out for. I overlooked a possible capture here by the queen. So remember to see what squares the other pieces are covering, especially the long distance pieces. All right. Well, if we go there, then we can go here. So, unless there's another way to go, if we go here, then we could swing over here possibly. Nope, they don't want that. So maybe it's the bishop move. Nope. All right. Do they want that? Okay, I guess that is what they were looking for. So now we can go here and deliver a check. The king could move here. That doesn't look good, because how do we follow that up? So here, probably we have to go here. The king will be forced to move here. So then what? We check here. Oh man, yeah, this is a tough one. Holy cow. All right. Another difficult one. So, another thing I recommend, especially if you're more on the beginner side, is to do easier problems than this. So maybe I'll have to bump down the top rating level, from like 2,500 down to 2,000, because this is good for working on your calculating ability when you have tough problems, but not as good for your pattern recognition, which is something you want to work on more when you're starting out, if you're a beginner or even intermediate. All right, so what do we do here? Oh, now we deliver this? Okay. Yeah, and then see, now if they go here, we can, same idea that I had. The king has to go here, and then we deliver a mate, but now we got rid of that queen. All right, well, I hope you found these problems to be challenging. Maybe let me know in the comments if they were too difficult or what you think. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and have a super chess day.